Even either on the stream. Good morning, Kenya. Rise and shine to the morning momentum. Your daily dose of a comprehensive rundown of the top stories making the headlines on the papers. It is the 11th day of July 2025. It's a Friday, and for Fridays, you know, we do the weekly roundup right here on the morning momentum. But before then, let's take a look at the top stories making the headlines on the nation this morning on the front page. IEBC's 2027 tests starts. Judges uphold the head of state's nomination of 7 commissioners and ask him to regularize appointments. A full in tray, conduct 2022 pending by-elections and then register new voters, boundary delimitation, and then you conduct continuous voter education followed by procuring election materials, and that is the pipeline they are going to follow right there. But there's a hiccup. The High Court yesterday quashed President William Ruto's Gazette notices appointing the IEBC chairman and 6 commissioners, but at the same time cleared the way for him to gazette them afresh after throwing out all petitions against the polls teams. This now paves the way for the new electoral officials to take office and get down to the hard work of preparing for the next general election. All that is augmented for you on page 4 and page 5 of the Nation this morning. On page 7, silent wars rock the opposition over its flag bearer. And on page 2, Chief Kadhi leaves behind a rich legacy of humility and selflessness. On sports news this morning on athletics, Wanyonyi eyeing something special in star-studded race. The world will be treated to a thrilling spectacle in athletics tonight when Olympics 800 meters champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi launches what promises to be his own push for a world record. So those are the top stories making the headlines on the front page of the Nation this morning. Now, as I said when we were beginning, it's that time for the weekly roundup. Our discussion for the day is going to be Raila's proposal on having a national conclave, intergenerational dialogue. And with me to this morning, I have 3 guests. To my right is Ramadan Abdul, karibu sana. And to the immediate left is Abunde Danish. Karibu sana to the show. And on my farthest left is Gregory Orwenjo. Karibu sana to the show. And thank you so much for making time. Now, let's backdate this a little bit on why we are here. This all boils down to the financial bill protest that took place last year, which led to death of several young people in the country. And then fast forward to this year during the commemoration, again, we saw loss of lives, and then followed the Sabasaba demonstrations, which were meant to commemorate the 35 years since the first Sabasaba ever happened. And following those events, we've seen bitter reactions from those in different leadership positions in the country, where the president instructed that, you know, the goons are supposed to be shot in the leg, and then they proceed to court. And then the close ally to the president, that is Koech, yesterday, you know, amplified that and said, shoot to kill instead of shooting in the leg. When a sitting MP like Nelson Koech says shoot to kill in response to civilian protests, that message, uh, what message is the government, you know, sending to young Kenyans demanding accountability, Ramadan?
And first of all, let me say how glad I am to be here to contribute matters of national concern.
Mm.
What the MP yesterday said, to amplify what the president said, this last brings you to the fact that we are now pursuing what is called tribal politics, because Nelson Courage, when he was addressing this issue, he was in Rift Valley,
Mm.
where he believed that they have followers, and he wanted to show those people that actually the reason as to why our government is being attacked is because we are candidates.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I think, the reason as to why he was saying that. Number two, for him to support the sentiments of the president of shooting to kill, to me, that was all. In fact, he did not even say support what the president. He went extreme
Mm.
to put that instead of shooting in the leg, just kill them because he he's not. He's not supporting the president to the fact that the president is being targeted in one way or the other. He's just putting it because he believes, or they believe from the region, that actually the government is being hated because it is a challenging government.
Abunde, why do you think we are here? How did we get to this place, first of all?
Um, thank you so much, Alphonse. Our country, as a Kenya, we are in a mess. We have the legislature and the executive, and it happens all these bodies need to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
But you find that in this case, the legislators are in bed with the executive body,
Mm.
whereby they think that when they praise the executive, they earn a certain favor. And that the sentiment of the sitting MP, the work of an MP is to legislate. These are the lawmakers, and it's so painful that the people we trust.
Mm-hmm.
Article Chapter 1 of the Constitution says that the power belongs to the people, and this power is given to these people through an election. So we elect these people to represent us. And when an MP of that caliber, who we trust, to legislate on our behalf, speak on that matter, that don't even shoot at the leg, don't aim at the leg, but shoot to kill, then it tells you that as a country, we are already in a mess. And it will take us a very, very long time to bring this country back.
Mm.
But and I want to promise Kenyans that we, the youths, we are ready to bring this country back, not through bloodshed, but through a serious negotiation.
If they will give us time to do so.
Mm.
Yeah. Greg, how do you justify such remarks when the Constitution is meant to protect peaceful protests?
Thank you, Alphonse, for having me here today. First of all, I want to say that as a country, we have one of the best constitutions around.
Mm.
Our problem is only on the implementation part of it. And just to be clear on what the president and the member for Belgut said yesterday and the days before, they were not talking about protesters. They were very categorical that if goons, we cannot live in a country of lawlessness. We cannot live in a country of anarchy. And the National Police Act actually mandates the police and gives the police power that there are instances. For example, if you go to a police station and you endanger the life of a police officer, the law allows the police to use live ammunition. The other instance that the National Police Act allows the police to use bullets is when they are protecting property, the life and property. So in instances that we are having goons, we are having criminals invading our police station, destroying businesses, we cannot laugh with them. That is why I want to say that I am in full support of actually shooting the legs. Because when you shoot the legs, it is called immunization. It is called, there's a name, but when you shoot the legs, you actually don't shoot to kill this person, but you shoot them so that they don't escape, and you arrest them. Because we cannot endanger our lives because of criminals and goons.
Well, you have clearly outlined the circumstances under which the police is allowed to use, to go an extra mile to use their ammunition.
Yeah.
But based on what has been happening, is that the, ideal situation on the ground, based on the lives that we've lost? Is it really that they were meant to use ammunition under those circumstances?
Just to say, to go back to what I've said, we have a very beautiful constitution. The constitution actually puts ways that we can overset the police. We have IPOA. When a police officer acts out of order, IPOA should investigate, then charge those police officers. There are a number of police officers that have been charged before. Even the Baby Pendo case, there's a police officer that is actually in court. So we are not saying that we support police officers to shoot at protesters. But what the president and the member for Belgut said is the police, they were very clear. The police should find a way of dealing with criminals and goons. Protesters are not goons, and you have your right in the constitution also to protest peacefully and unarmed. And you are not supposed to be shot at when you are going to protest. That is my point.
Alphonse, I think my colleague is getting it right, and it's so paining that we are having youths of this caliber who can still, who can publicly defend such kind of sentiment without any, yet without any defense, without any concrete evidence. Alphonse, I want these people to tell me, we've been having the demonstration since 25th June last year. And the main reasons why youth decided to go on the street was because of this so-called failed government. Like I said before, that we have Article Chapter 1 of the Constitution give us power to elect people to represent us. And how did we get there? Because we had people who were to represent us, we talked to them, but they failed to listen to us, the MPs, when we were talking about the finance bill. And therefore, we say that this power can get back to us and go on the street, because the Constitution also allows us to go on the street to protest against such kind of the government. After that, people were killed. See Rex Masai and the very many youth that were killed. Do you want to tell me that those were goons? Were they goons? When you're talking about that there is an act that protects the police, I want him to refer to Article 244 of the Constitution that outlines the objective and function of the police. You see that? And in that article, it talks about the professionalism and how the police is supposed to handle these people. You find that those who are killing the people on the street, the youth on the streets, they are not in line with what the Constitution states about how to protect the protesters. You find that even there was a court order that when a police officer is going to manage protesters, they're supposed to be uncovered. But what happens? So when you talk about such things, then it tells you that even we ourselves, we are not understanding what is happening. Or maybe because we are desperate and there is something we are looking for, we cannot speak for ourselves, but we want to speak in a manner that impresses the oppressors. And we are not going to allow such things. We are not going to impress the oppressors, but we are going to tell them in a manner that they need to understand us. The conversation here is a intergenerational talk. They need to understand us from where we stand. We need to understand them from where they are. And that is the only thing that is going to bring this country back on the road. Yes.
We are heading there, but before then, as we finish up with this issue of repeated force against the citizens that are protesting peacefully, Ramadan, do you think the government has failed to learn lessons since June last year?
Well, I think you remember very well, Alphonse, last year, 25th June, is something that came as an emergency. No one was prepared. Even the youth themselves didn't know that actually that is what is going to happen on that day. It is something that started out of anger. Most of the youth in this country, I saw a meme some few weeks ago, a picture of the former President Uhuru Kenyatta and the former President Moi Kibaki, now with the current President William Ruto. I think the picture was communicating that Uhuru was telling, this is the person who is going to deal with the children that you initiated the free education. So you see, when we are young, we used to believe that after we are done with our academics, there's something out there for us. And when William Ruto in 2022 is campaigning to become the president, he really assured young people in the quote unquote, we call them hustlers, that he is going to create jobs. The other day he also saw that he told the people that actually under my regime, we have previous regime, there was issue of unemployment. Why is it that you are telling me that the issue of unemployment is my current regime? So the problem is that the president, what he said, people expected much from him. We cannot actually say that it is his actually responsibility to give us the jobs. But the fact remains that under his watch, many young people have been conned. There is no that goodwill. You know, me, I've applied for so many jobs. I've tried myself. I can tell my brother here, if it's a person who have tried to give solution to the government of today, is Ramadan. As a young person who's unemployed, and I have facts, I have evidence here. I've given them solution on matters of agriculture. They don't bring you the table. What they do is they execute the idea in your absentia. You see, they don't bring you on board. What the youth are demanding is that you've heard people saying, if I'm not on the menu, I'll break it, or the table can break it. So the point is that we have solution as youth of this country. The fact that the topic is an intergeneration talk, their generation and the generation we are living today is different. There are something that we believe it is, and you cannot take it out from us. As long as me, I've already believed that today, this is the phone, iPhone is the phone. For example, this is Techno, just give you an example. You cannot convince me that a Motorola is good. So we have to resonate. You have to understand why is it that I take this as a phone, and I also have to understand why is it that you are saying that the Motorola is a good phone. So if you understand me and I understand you, then we can have a conversation. But immediately I say this is a phone and you dismiss me and say this is not a phone. What are you saying, young man? You know, the only way for me to express myself is to go to the street. The president, last year, 25th, he said that he's going to have dialogue. Do you know what happened? That time, they brought, you know, in this executive thing, we have people, we call them conmen. And there's a term that I've learned this year, it's called vipindi. A kipindi is something that is stage managed. Me, I was a comedian. I used to act with GCT. So when you go to act, people will see, oh, hey, some people can even cry in the scene, but that is not the actual stuff. So what is happening in this government? There is a lot of vipindi. Young people are being taken to State House, and you know there are pictures being taken, and it's not the president the problem. The problem is that the president has entertained these people. You see, they go to the State House, they take picture, and they post it on the social media. What is the communication out there? That we have young people we have talked to, but let me tell you, reality is reality. If today you tell me that this is a gazette, when I come, I don't find a gazette. I come and I find that this is a nylon paper. You see, those are two different stuff. You're telling young people that today I've had a conversation with young people. But when you come back on the ground, those young people you're telling us that you had a conversation with them are the one consuming drugs in the streets. So we young people who are intellectual, I'm sure nobody here is an intellectual. We are all intellectual in some areas. So we will look at this thing and say, no, this is a kipindi. This is a formality. We cannot accept it. And that's why you see these young people are going where? To the streets. And when they go to the street, what did the government do? They send police officers. The other day, Kipchumba Murkomen say, even during the case of Ojwang, they went to the Senate. They were asked. Murkomen said, together with the IG is my friend. They said that actually, Murkomen said, for me, I cannot comment matters police because police is an independent institution. If they make decisions independently. After some few days, he comes and says, we are going to defend police. We're going to defend them. If somebody attacks you, do this and this. So it means now, and you know, let me tell you, Murkomen, as much as he's a CS, is a politician. He's there as a beneficiary or because of the political status he is currently in. What the president should do right now is to look for professionals who can do certain jobs. You cannot tell me that today an engineer is a doctor. An engineer is a person who is very educated, but he doesn't know what it takes to become a doctor. Go and bring a doctor to the hospital. If today you bring this is a church. but you bring a comedian. Now a comedian is going to lead the sermon.
Just
What do you
because he can
expect?
read the Bible.
People will laugh. People will not understand it. So what is going to happen in the government? The president must have, first of all, look at the people he's working with. Somebody like Murkomen, with due respect, should be given another docket. He cannot handle CS interior. We have to look people who have been working in the police force, like regional commissioners, county commissioners. You see, people who have been in a higher rank of security, matters of security. They understand what security is. We have people who have gone to school. They have done what you call, this course is called criminology. They understand matters of crime. Murkomen is a lawyer. And he's a lawyer. We don't know whether he's a practicing lawyer. You can be a lawyer but not practicing law. You see? So what is happening in this country is that we have incompetent people occupying national offices. And they are leading us in a wrong direction. So mine is to say, we are not going to have a solution. I was even urging my fellow youth not to go to the streets, so that when it comes 2027, you will have two options, the ballot or the bullet. Because right now, the government and people who are actually championing, I know the president is entertaining people who are not telling him the truth. If the president will entertain people telling the truth, somebody like Nelson Koech today anafaa kukua kwa cell because he dismissed the sentiments of the president. May I agree with the president? If today a goon comes and want to attack the police or want to attack the protester or is attacking people's businesses, yes, shoot them in the leg and arrest them. But it is very extreme for a member of parliament, a legislator who knows his function, as a person who's supposed to make law, to come and dismiss what the president has said and say, no, even shooting in the leg will not help, just kill them.
All right.
So those are the things that we cannot agree with.
This national conclave intergenerational dialogue was proposed by Raila Odinga, and in part of his statement, he said, the national conclave must have clear terms of reference and depopulated and held by the most serious and sober minds of our nation. And in his statement, the entire statement, this is where my concern is. The national conclave. The last time I checked the meaning of conclave, and I'll just read it for you guys from what is available on the internet. Number one is that it is the assembly of cardinals for the election of a pope, which is also happening recently. The other meaning of a conclave via French from Latin conclave means lockable room. So it means that this dialogue that is going to be there, it's going to take place, you know, in secrecy. Most of the people might not have an idea of the actual picture that is happening in there. But with what we already have right now, let me throw it back to Greg. Can intergenerational dialogue thrive in a climate where peaceful protesters are met with threats of bullets?
First of all, we must understand as a country where we have come from and how we got here. And I think what the Honorable Prime Minister, first of all, is a Prime Minister, because you cannot be a former if there is no current.
He is former.
So the Prime Minister, what I think is proposing, don't see too much on the names. It's just saying that as a people, we need to come together, we need to reason together, because the streets are not the solution. We are going to the streets every day, we are getting killed, and justice is not being served. Let us come together. We have intelligent people, and it should be intergenerational. We should take the old, we should take the youth, we should even intergender, we should take women, people with disabilities, we should have the professionals, people in the private sector, so that we find a solution to our problem. We are talking about unemployment. How do we create employment? For your information, Ramadan, the government has less than 1 million employees, and the government creates less than, I think, 100,000 in a year. We should put structures where the private sector can thrive. So those are the things that we need to talk about. So I support the dialogue. Because you see the problem with Gen Zs, and I'm a Gen Z for that matter. We don't want to listen, and we don't want our ideas to be challenged.
Say I don't want, because you
No,
are
no,
you are a Gen Z,
you.
and all of us are Gen Zs, and you cannot now generalize that we don't want to listen.
Say,
Say
no,
I personally I don't want to listen.
I've not said
Just
Abunde.
because I'm ready
No,
to listen.
I've not said Abunde.
No,
I've just said we. So I'm
no,
generalizing.
not generalizing we.
No, I've
Just
not
say
talked about
speak
you.
on
I've not
your
talked
own,
about you.
at your
Please
own level.
give him time to finish.
Yeah, because he cannot generalize that we don't want to listen.
Just proceed.
You know, now the problem is people like Abunde are the ones that are misdirecting the population, because they have a platform like this. They should be telling our Gen Zs that, look, as a people, let us come together and reason. And I know people have talked about BBI, NADCO.
Have they been fully implemented?
No, they have not been implemented, because people say it was about a person or the character of Raila Odinga. Raila has just proposed. Raila is a citizen of this country. Just like Ramadan, you can propose how you want that dialogue to be done. It should not be Raila's way. Alphonse, I believe you also want us to talk. Or you don't want a dialogue? I believe everyone wants a dialogue. It's the best way to solve problems. So, like Abunde, you just say, me like Abunde, I want us to dialogue. These are the terms of reference. These are the people I want. These are the people I don't want on the table, like perennial dialogue minded people like Baba. We don't want him on the table. We want new people. We want Omtata. We want Maraga. You see? That is my point. Yeah.
So who are these people that Raila is referring to as the most serious and sober minds?
No, I don't know. I don't speak for Raila Odinga nor the party. But according to me, I think Kenya has more than 50 million people. We cannot fail to even choose 10 who are serious and sober-minded. I'll propose Abude here. I believe he's serious and sober-minded. So that is why I'm saying we don't want those familiar faces. We want the church. We want Ole Sapit. In as much as he was leading the choir at Bomas on that fateful day. But we believe in his wise counsel. We believe in the wise counsel of Cardinal John Dewey. We even attended that conclave. If we are talking about a conclave, then Cardinal John Dewey must be part of that conclave.
Okay. Abunde,
Yes.
when you talk about intergenerational dialogue,
Yeah.
what does this mean in the Kenya that we are living in right now?
Thank you so much, Alphonse. And also, before I get to that, let me at least put something here that Lisema, we cannot have we cannot say he's a former when we don't have a current. You know, he was a prime minister in the other constitution, and the 2010 constitution does not give the position of a prime minister, so he's a former.
So he's
Our
current.
current, so he's not he's a former, because the constitution does not allow any prime minister. So I think that one is noted. Okay, on your case, you're saying we're having this intergenerational talks. We have a disconnect between every generation. We have a generation, this is a generation of from 1965 to 1983. And you find that in government positions or in other sectors, parastatals, the directors are these people from this age. Yeah, this called after this generation, Generation X. Yeah, these are the people leading, and we are having the millennials. And the millennials, these are the sons and daughters of the Generation X. Then we are having the Gen Zs, who are also sons and daughters of generation of millennium. So there is a disconnect. There is something that we are not understanding as Gen Zs, that the Generation X and millennials and the generation after, before Generation X existed. This thing here, you find that in our generation, this is the generation that is mostly exposed to internet. This is a generation that not, you will say something, and I'll say, okay, I've heard from Alphonse. Let me see the other countries in Africa. Let me see the other countries in the United States or in other continents. What are they saying about this issue? So we are exposed to a lot of information because we listen, we pause, and do a research. The generation X, these are generations that they were taught, they take order, they don't ask any question. During independence, the generation that were there, the generation that whatever wameambiwa, that was exact. And this generation, you find that in that parliament, after independence, we had only teachers who are, most of them were members of the parliament. Because people really respected a teacher, because this is somebody who was, alikuwa na transform the community. And by then, we only respected two people, the church leaders and the teachers. And after that, we're now having a generation whereby this generation X, these guys were, how do walikuwa wanafanya nini? Their sons, and they learn from this generation after independence. And therefore, for us, being that we are exposed to a lot of information, the things that we see, and this generation X, the Constitution, they knew that the only lawyers can read the Constitution and understand. But in our generation, you want an article, we can just say, we have this article. This is what this article says. And we can argue this article just like a lawyer. So there is the disconnect comes here. These people don't want, they're saying that tunajifanya tumesoma sana.
Who are these people?
This is generation X. They're not accepting that we are their sons. And we are exposed to a lot of information. You know, Kitambo, they were hiding some things that they should not know this. They should not know this. They didn't know that it will reach a point whereby we'll be exposed to this information. And therefore, that's why in each and every sector, you go to, they have a portal whereby you can get every detail. Nowadays, you are applying for a job opportunity, and you are being told that ensure that you go into their platform and learn, get to know what they are offering. You get that? So, this intergenerational talk, I think it's going to, if we are going to have it, then we are going to have a platform whereby we are going to tell them what do you think the youth want now? Because we are part and parcel of this government, and Article 1 and Chapter 1 of the Constitution tells us that we, the people, we have the power. And now this power, we know that we have the power, and we are part and parcel of this government. And we are seeing that we have a government that is failing. We are having a government that is not law-abiding government. We have a government that are just operating the way they want. And we know the president, this is what the president is supposed to do, this is what the president is supposed to say, this is what the police officer is supposed to do, this is how he's supposed to conduct himself. But referring to the Constitution, they're going contrary to what the Constitution is saying. So when we are having this dialogue, I think if they were able to listen to us before last year, June 2023, then this country will not be here where we are today. I think that has triggered our emotions in a bad way. So we have to sit down, and we don't want much. We really don't want much. I think you know that. If we can have a government that is obeying law, a government that is doing what exactly people want, then even this conversation, this dialogue should not be there, because the government know how to operate. And therefore, there is a war between these generations. The generation Z is saying that they think that they can punish us. They think that they can defame us. They think that they can destabilize our government. We are going to tell them that they cannot. That is government talking. We are not going to tell them that they cannot. We are going to use the force that is necessary to ensure that they abide by what we are saying. You see? And where we stand, we are saying they were not there by themselves. We voted them. We gave them this power. And therefore, we want to get this power back to us. They will shoot. They will kill those they want to kill, but we will ensure that we get to them. That is where we are going as a country. And I personally, as a youth, I don't want us to get to that level. Because still, we really depend on these people. When we want a job, we are going to get them. Any advice, we are going to get them.
So nothing we can do as a youth without their blessings.
Okay.
Because when also we're talking about this generation, let us not forget that they are our parents. And the blessings we get from our parents. So this chest thumping that we and then they brought it, they've really made it look like it is a political war, intergenerational political war, whereby they think we are in opposition. So nowadays all the Gen Zs are in opposition, and no one wants to be in the government. And those who like the few who get something from the government, you say we are not part of it. We are not Gen Zs. You see. So I want to call upon all youth that it is not all about what you are getting, but it's about the future of our country. It's about the future of the generation that will come after us. If we don't get the government on the right track now, then even the generation that is coming after us will blame us for not, trying to solve this problem when we had the opportunity and time.
Okay. Ramadan, from what Abunde is saying, do you think the government is ready to listen, or they are still willing to play the old tricks of political powers?
First of all, we are all the way we understand that we are all Gen Zs. However, there is a problem that I've just come to learn, and I've been saying this in previous interviews that I've been in. Number one, it will be very difficult for we young people to liberate this country. I'm speaking that not as an ignorant person, but a person who is very observant.
Why?
Because even right now, as you look how things are, we're just remaining with around 25 months to the general elections. But by 2027, Gen Z will have less voice in matters of governance decision of this country. All of us will have been absorbed somewhere. Even my brother here will be somewhere. My brother here will be absorbed somewhere. I myself, even if I wish not to be there, I'll find myself in a certain category. Not because I wish so, but because I don't believe that we Gen Z, we are very that powerful. What makes us powerful is this thing. We are very vocal on social media. And if you want to understand what I'm saying, every demonstration we've been having, previously the Saba Saba, even the 25th one. Me, I was in town, 2024. How these things came up, I just saw by my eye. Because number one, when I was there, people were demonstrating. There are some students, those colleges in town, people were saying, reserve finance bill. You are walking in town, also you start shouting. Even the one shouting next to you don't know him. So I think it's a movement that came out of a pressure. It was like gengeton music that used to happen sometimes back. And it made sense after some time because people came to realize that actually there's a reject finance bill because even life is hard and many other things. But you remember after the 25th June of 2024, Rigathi Gachagua, the then deputy president, had differences. There was some cold war between him and the president. So after that, this Gen Z movement was a blessing in disguise to him and those people who felt that there's something that is not serving their interest within the government. So he decided to take the route of the Gen Z. He started calling them my sons and daughters. You see? And you remember before those demonstrations, there are some Gen Zs who are telling Raila, it's not your time. Sit back and watch. You have really fought for this country. You don't have to fight it again. You see? So this Gen Z movement really confused government official. And the president, in the beginning, initially he thought that these are young people, they are joking, and maybe, so he had to apologize. So after that, currently, as you can see how things are, there are people who are calling themselves cousins. The issue of Gen Z is going to fade away. You'll be listening, hi cousin, hi Makuzo. It has really trended. You see? So there are people, even the Gen Z themselves, who have been carried with the wave of hi cousins. There are people, even the Gen Z, who have been carried with the wave of what were Mulima. You get it? Right now, as you're talking, during Sabasaba, there were some banners in Kisumu sending a message that there are no demonstration in Kisumu. True or false? So if you interpret all these messages, it is, and you heard what Peter Kaluma, MP Homa Bay Town, what he said, when during the Ojwang funerals, those young people who stormed the police station. So he said that these are not people from this area. These are goons from where? Nairobi. What he was trying to communicate, he was saying that people of Nyanza cannot support demonstrations because they are in broad-based government. Are you getting my point? So by 2027, believe me, I am sure this interview is being recorded and it will be somewhere. And you go back to the archives and you confirm. Gen Z will not be there. We'll be talking about high cousins. We'll be talking about we are Nilots. We'll be talking about we are Bantus. And we'll be talking about we are Kushites. That is what is going to take this country way forward. It is not my wish that that is what should happen, but that is what is going to happen. It is not your wish, and I'm sure it's not anybody's wish. The issue of being nationalists in this country, it happens during 1963. After that, the root of me, I come from this region, started taking shape. The Gen Zs are trying to change the narrative. But you saw the goons that were attacking demonstrators in town the other day were Gen Zs. The young people attacking young people. You see? So this now tells you, and I'll agree with this young man here, maybe he can be profiled that he is not supporting Gen Z. But maybe he has sat down and he has seen the whole picture. And he has realized that actually Gen Z have nothing. They are very vocal. And let me tell you, you've seen what the current regime is doing. They have started what we call economic empowerment. Because I'm also I'll be running for member of parliament in Embakasi Central. I've invited them to come and do the economic empowerment in Embakasi Central. Why am I saying so? It is not my wish to use them, but they have the resources. I normally use an example that I'm a Muslim. We Muslim, we believe that Prophet Musa alayhi salam was to save the children of Israel, the Israel. So, but God, the time that Moses was born, Pharaoh was killing young boys. But you see, Musa grew in Pharaoh's house, eat Pharaoh's food. Up to the time he grew up, and he saved the children of Israel. So what I'm saying is this. There's a blessing in this case. We used to tell young people, this war, we cannot fight it right now. You have seen what has happened. Those who are crying are the mother and the parents of these kids are the ones who are crying. Even if the president gave the Ojwang's father 2 million or Karaoke was given 1 million, 1 million is not worth life. True or false? You cannot compare 2 million with somebody's life. That guy is gone. He cannot come back. So, what is the solution? Raila Odinga has given us a solution of what we call conclave. You say it can be a secret meeting. For me, with due respect, I don't think we can have a solution of a dialogue. What I think, I remember all of us some times back from Mekua High School. There's a friend of mine, he's called David Ojwang. He told us, he came to repeat me, I did the exam in 2016. He told us that it's not about the performance of the school. It's a performance of an individual. Because a school can have a mean of 10, that is a B plus, right? But you have scored a D minus. A school is rejoicing, celebrating, but you are crying as an individual. Or a school can have a mean of 4, but it's a guy with an A. So the school is mourning, but there's somebody going to the university. Yeah. Him and his parents, or her and her parents are going to celebrate. You see? So at the end of the day, it is you as an individual. You should ask yourself, what are you contributing to the growth of this country? What are you bringing on the table as an individual? You see? Number one, if you categorize yourself, if you measure yourself on that level, then we're also going to measure the government. Because right now, we have youth also demonstrating, at our Zay want to demonstrate, by the way, for your information. Even here, all people are crying, yeah, government. Me, my solution is this one. As an individual, what are you doing to change the problem we are facing as a country? Because if you take an initiative to change something, if you take an initiative to change something, if you take an initiative to change something in the media, and I take something to change in the community, if what I'm doing is thriving, and gets a point that I meet the media, and you have taken an initiative to change the media, I don't have a problem. Right now, we are facing problems at all fronts. I'm facing a problem as an individual. I cannot take shower. I cannot. Okay. When I reach to the chief is corrupt. The pastor is a comedian. So we have a problem that even the government itself cannot solve. We have a problem. The national dialogue is okay to address this issue, but if you see, if you have not actually accepted it in your mind that you're going to change, I cannot force you. I cannot force my brother here to be a Muslim. I cannot. I will wish that he become a Muslim. But until it takes an individual decision, he will approach me and say, Ramadan, by day, let's go to the mosque. But I cannot force him. I cannot even force my brother here to do what he does not. If today somebody decides to steal, he will steal.
Perfect, Ramadan. Let me, yes,
just he has said that it's an individual responsibility.
Yeah.
And I want to tell him that it becomes individual responsibility and the backstop of the government. Look at the Article 55 of the Constitution that gives the rights and responsibility of a youth. It says, let me just read it because this is a constitution, that it mandates the state to measure to ensure that the young people have access to relevant education, training opportunities, and participate variously in spheres of life, access to employment, and protection from harmful practices and exploitation. So the backstop are there at the government, and this by making the policies that are favorable, that are friendly to you, so that even if it's a business, they can do it with a lot of ease. So we cannot say that, I'm doing business, and I'm also hustling out. I'm doing a lot of things. We are trying, but you find that you're doing three things to ensure that you want them to get you money, but you're not getting that because the government has hiked everything for you. So we need to be responsible as an individual. But the backstop of the government, and this is the government policies. He's talking about that they're doing empowerment projects. Yeah, I want him to tell me that they need to be futuristic. They need to be long-lasting. You cannot tell me that you go to a slum and they give food. You give rice and unga and just listen to me. Just listen to me. Yeah, and they say that is empowerment. Yeah, then they go to other areas. They give motorbikes. They give machines and they give to groups. So these things is being done in sections. So when you are eating well with the government and you sing and dance to their tune, so you get things that can at least serve you well. And it's just a group of people. And if the areas that are not dancing to the tune, they are being given rights, and they call it economic empowerment. So I'm not denying the fact that the economic empowerment is good. But I'm saying we need to have a clear program. We need to have a clear structure on how many people are getting this, and which group of people in the society really deserve this. So that's what I want us to talk about.
Can I cut you short?
Okay.
Let me cut him short.
Yeah.
There's something people don't understand. That the government, even this Ruto's government will go, another one will come.
That is in the constitution.
That is in the constitution.
Yes.
Me, I'm not defending the government.
Yes.
Me, I'm just giving.
I'm not saying you are defending the government. I want you to get me clear.
No.
I want you to get me clear. I'm not saying that you are defending.
I know.
Let him react and
let me react to one thing. I want to tell you. Number one, the solutions that we are giving today to young people should be mindful.
Yeah.
should be mentality
Yeah.
of young people.
Yeah.
Are you getting the point?
Yeah.
The mentality that we young people today we have is a mentality that no one can solve. No one will solve. No one will solve our mental problem.
Such as
Number one, we have a perception that everything lies with the government. It is a backstop, the way you say,
yes.
the policies.
Yes.
The other day, I heard the former Attorney General saying that education should be free. Let me tell you one thing. The government can only fund education with the taxes. Taxes. He is collecting enough taxes to fund everything. It's true or false?
True.
So, first of all, we must understand the procedure of everything. The other day, we've heard what happened in Isiolo. The MCS went to impeach the governor, but they have not followed the law. Everything has the government. We have a constitution. So they say a constitution. These are a set of laws that governs a country. In that constitution, we must not dismiss the fact that for everything to operate, for the government to operate smoothly, there are things that must be also operational. Right now, there are people who are saying government should not collect tax on this and this and this, but government should implement this and this and this. And that's why I've said it takes a personal responsibility. Huko mashambani, you see somebody like if you go huko mashambani, people wanaenda shamba wanalima. There are only people who are complaining, and it's true they should be complaining, are people who are looking for job opportunities, and which I agree that the government should find a way to empower private sectors. Because the government, you say recurrent expenditure is 1.6 trillion. This is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Recurrent expenditure is only to run government programs, the function of the government. That is a lot to the government. What the government should do is to invest more in the private sector, to bring more investment in this country, to invest in agriculture. Because let me tell you, there is a proposal I sent to the Minister of Agriculture, for instance. If you travel from Nairobi to Mombasa, my friend, you will ask yourself, is this country empty? Free land, paka huko. Whether these lands have cases or they don't have cases, maybe they are in the hands of the government. Why can't we invest in agriculture so that we make Kenya a hub of food in East and Central Africa? Our country, sister country like South Sudan, Somalia, these are countries that we should be supplying their food. You see, the private sector should be now given an opportunity to, because if we are the private sector that producing maybe maize or beans, the government can make food production so that it is affordable to we public consumers, so that the private sector can now supply what food maybe in South Sudan, maybe the Congo, maybe Somalia, so that we empower. That's how the United States came up to be a superpower country, because supplying that.
So you have a problem with government policies?
I have a problem with how government it executes its function. But I also have a problem with our fellow young men who said just sit with their phone and do nothing in their houses.
No one can do nothing and eat at the same time.
Let me cut you short. I think we can create time to have such kind of a conversation. But let's get back to the conversation we were having. And I'll throw it to Greg. Is there assurance of having a dialogue with this government that, you know, the youth seem to have lost trust in? Is there any form of assurance?
You are putting me in a very hard place, because it's like you want me to speak for the government,
No, I asked you
which
what
I'm
you
not
think
being
about
paid
that.
to do.
Don't run away from my question. I asked what you are thinking if there is assurance that the government can have dialogue with the youth that have lost trust in it.
The only problem that we have as a country, I said it before, is we've lost trust because we've been having these similar dialogues each and every election after election. There is a character who has masterminded this dialogue thing.
And you know the character, right?
I know the character. He goes to an election. I don't know his victory is being stolen or he loses by design, then comes and wants to dialogue. So I think this is what has led the youth to lose trust in this whole process. But in my own opinion, I believe it is the way to go. We were told and we were taught in classes that the best way to solve a problem is through dialogue. You come and you speak together. But also there's a point that I wanted to say. You see, this Gen Z demonstration that happened last year in June, it was very organic. Actually, I even have my relatives who didn't know politics by then, who went to the streets. It's because we were championing a cause. We were against finance bill. And I'm a finance student. I want to tell you, the only mistake that the president did at that time, taxes is a way of raising revenue. But if you raise taxes past equilibrium, you'll actually collect less. That is why when the taxes were going up steadily, each and every time, they were not even now collecting. And the people were tired. And if you also look at how those taxes were being used, we were giving the wife of I don't know who, the seat is unconstitutional. We even create an unconstitutional seat for the wife, like this for Mudavadi. So we went to the street for a cause. But if you look at these demonstrations that are happening currently, you even wonder, Saba, if you take one youth from that street on the 7th of July, this Monday, you ask them what is Saba. They'll not tell you, they don't know what Saba is. They even don't know why they are going to the street. And you don't know why you've gone to the street. You get killed, you get a permanent injury, So I also believe that there are people who have hijacked this movement. There are known people also in this country who don't believe that there are certain places that can lead. And those are the people who have hijacked this demonstration. And you can even look at how that demonstration was happening. You will see the places, you will see the regions that it is happening. There's a reason why that demonstration was not happening in Sierra where I come from.
In other words, what are you trying to say?
No, I'm just saying you could look at it and you can see the turn that demonstration has taken.
What is that supposed to mean? Like
No,
the turn it has taken.
you are a consumer of information. You know which places that had demonstration. We had 16 countries out of 47. You know where the regions. It is not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that now, if you want to stop demonstration in Nairobi, you block Thika and Kiambu Road.
But it is the same police who are supposed to protect those people. If the police are in a position to barricade the entrance to the CBD and, protect the CBD.
No, it is the work of the police.
What bars them from protecting those areas that had them?
No, that place was an hotspot. That is why a roadblock was put. And by there, our courts sometimes also can lead us to anarchy. I read a judgment yesterday that was saying the police should not block roads. What should the police do if these people are coming to destroy property and cause mayhem in town, cause anarchy? What do you expect the police to do? They must block that road. It is their right. The Constitution gives them that power to protect us and property. And just to finish my point, I was saying the last year's demonstrations were organic. I even have had my girlfriend, someone who has never known politics in all her life, go to the streets. I heard them for the first time talk about finance. We talk about economy. But today, we are not talking about finance, we are not talking about economy. We are talking about Occupy State House. That is a treasonous act. We are talking about Ruto must go. It has taken a different path. That is why I'm saying there are people who want to take power through back. And also there are Gen Zs in it who are also, they still have the hangovers of last year's demonstration. So they'll find themselves with these anarchists, with these tribalists who want to take power, not knowing. So my point is, we must stop as a people. Let us talk, let us educate our Gen Zs, let us tell them we have gotten to an era of politics of cousins. But the cousins is not different from shareholders. Cousins is talking about shareholders was a certain group of people who vote for that government. I was a shareholder, I did vote for this government. Cousins, I'm not a cousin because I'm not a bandit. Cousins are bandits. if you come from the left, you're not a cousin. The Nilots are not cousins to Bantu. That is divisive politics. And we must call out these people.
All right, let's catch up with what our viewers are saying. Faith from Kayole Junction says, we've had too many speeches. If the older generation really wants dialogue, let them sit down and listen, not lecture us. All right, Daniel says, I support dialogue. We need to stop shouting at each other on the streets and start talking across the table, youth and elders alike. Okay. All right, let's see. John Karanja says, the youth have energy, the elders have wisdom. We must combine the two, not compete. That is how nations grow. All right. We have, I may not understand hashtags and TikTok, but I know pain when I see it. Our children are crying out. We must sit with them. All right, let's take the last one. Vincent says, this dialogue must go beyond Nairobi. Take it to villages, campuses, churches, everywhere. Let the whole country speak. All right, let's pick it up.
When you take this dialogue to Siaya, they will discuss Mount Kenya. When you take this dialogue to Mount Kenya, to Kiambu, Nyeri, they will discuss Siaya or Eldoret. So it will be like those people, these people who are not in our community. I think I agree with him that if it's supposed to be taken to the villages, it should have a serious agenda, and it starts from the family. When it comes to villages, it's going to the families, trying to understand. The mom will speak, I will listen to the media, to the information. And therefore, if you understand, believe that the other person also understands. If he fails to understand that is ignorance. You see, this happens because we've seen that there are people that have hijacked this mandamano to sell their interest. You see, which is very bad. We need to talk. This conversation should be between me and you, Alphonse. Before it goes to the streets, the conversation needs to start. We need to have a intergenerational talk, dialogue. I need to ask you, Alphonse, why do you think we need to do this as a country? I need to know what is ailing you as an Alphonse. Because you said that you did your exam 2016. I did my exam 2015. I was in Badding Boys. And therefore, we are in age group. That's set up. And therefore, before you do something, why are you doing that? I need to ask me. And we need to have a conversation why we need now to do it as a team. When we have that conversation as Gen Zs, then also they will sit down as maybe Generation Z, speak and see what we want. Because if you just throw it to the elders will tell you, you know, these Kikuyus, they're not good people. That is why you see Gachagua is really pushing this. And when you go to Mount Kenya, the elder will say, you know, Raila has not been a good person for this government. And do you think we'll be having a solution that we really want as a generation? So we need to have the standards of this conversation and see where are we going to end. At the end of the day, we must have a government. At the end of the day, this must, at least, you know, at times it's so painful, Alphonse, that our parents, Sunday, there was a video clip that was going viral when our mothers were being paid to get to the bus, to go to Kilimani. They picked that token, they went to Kilimani. And when the president was saying, shoot at their legs, they were saying, hey, these are the same parents who will say, ilikuwa mtoto yangu moja tu. You never know. You know, let me just address that. Alphonse, allow me. There is no any mechanism that when you shoot, when you aim at the leg, you definitely get that leg. When you've cocked the gun, people will be running. Some watakuwa wameenda chini. Then you're aiming at the leg, then you get the head of somebody who has fallen down. How are you going to defend yourself on that case? Then you're a mother who was given 500, you are saying, that is what you want, Mr. President. Let them shoot. So as a country, I know njaa ni kitu baya, Alphonse. And that is what is failing this country. Yeah, it is and unemployment.
Okay,
But we
okay.
really need to look at these things with a serious eye. Yeah, you get that?
Okay. Please, I'm told we have completely run out of time, but let me just read one last one. There is somebody from our YouTube community saying, I don't know whether it's a he or a she, but it's Allison and the universe, says, if we are to be conquered, let it not be because we never fought. Thank you so much for that sentiment. Now, as we conclude, I'm giving each one of you 30 seconds each to make your parting shot into those cameras, and then we call it a wrap. I'll start with you, Ramadan. 30 seconds, parting shot.
I want to ask my fellow young people of this country that we are the future. So let us have a cause that is going to change this country. Let us not engage in things that are going to destroy us. Let us wait for the election and let us make the right decision because we are the future.
Thank you. Abunde?
Politicians are given a responsibility to take care of us. We as youths, let us not allow these politicians to ruin our future. Let us advise them. Let us remind them that they hold the future of this country. Let them hand this country to us, a better country that we can also hand to the next generation.
Thank you. Greg?
We only have one country, Kenya, which we should protect at all costs. I urge our fellow youth to register as voters so that in 2027 we don't make the same mistakes that we made in the past. We are not our parents, we are the Gen Zs. I believe we can make the right decisions at the ballot. Thank you for hosting me.
All right. Thank you so much for creating time, gentlemen. We do appreciate. And to you, we also appreciate you for keeping it locked right here on the Best Youth Celebration Network in East and Central Africa. The program on air has been the Morning Momentum. My name is Alphonce Ouma. See you next week, same time, same place. Until then, do have a beautiful weekend.